Okay, good afternoon to my committee members and the other parties of interest that are with us on Teams. This evaluation committee meeting for request for qualifications 24940 specialized planning consulting for the Development Services Department is being held by means of communications technology and the media. Active participation will be for committee members only. So provisions have been made for members of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting, and public attendees must remain on mute and cameras off. Thank you. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be available after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect and shall end the earlier of 5 business days after the county posts a notice of intent to award the contracts associated, or on the date the procurement solicitation is canceled by the county. All questions, comments, and concerns must be directed to my attention and my attention only. My name is Sakina Ford, and I am the chief buyer for this project. Again, for the record, the meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. So at this time, I'm going to ask the committee members to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with our committee chairperson, Jose Fernandez.
Jose Fernandez, Development Services, Business Manager.
Holly Marshall, Development Services, Executive Planner.
Richard Perez, Development Services, Executive Planner.
Norma Christie Alcino, Procurement Operations Coordinator.
Yes, thank you. So for the record, we received a total of 9 responses to this RFQ, with the response from Transformative Leadership LLC found as unacceptable. This solicitation has 4 service categories, with each proposer having the opportunities to submit on each category where applicable. So the committee will now evaluate by category, discuss and score by consensus the remaining 8 responses submitted for this RFQ. Each response is evaluated based on the information provided in the responses and as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in the solicitation. So for each service category, the responses will be scored based on the following criteria. Criteria 1 were 40 points. Proposers' organization and staff qualifications, that is knowledge, education, training, expertise, and skills. Criteria 2 is 40 points. Proposers' organization and staff experience, documented, successful, and relevant. And category 3 is the proposer's understanding of the scope and objectives, the technical approach, innovation, creativity, and project management. And then criteria 4 is the DM, DWBE, SBE bonus points, which those scores will be announced after the committee consensus scores for all of the service categories are recorded. So the evaluation committee chairperson, Jose, is going to be leading the discussion for the evaluation and scoring. After each category is discussed, we'll have you please state the final consensus score that is agreed upon so that I can record that in the scoring spreadsheet. And after the conclusion of all the scoring, I'll verify those scores with the committee and provide the final scoring. With that, Jose, I can leave this to you to go ahead and get started with service category number 1.
Thank you very much. Before we start, we have some, just a clarification. We have the different evaluation points for each of the categories. We may find that there are applicants that have applied to more than one category. That's one situation that we may find. We may find categories which have just one applicant. And the other thing that I would like to get some clarification is that the bearing of the scoring is not relevant for what we're trying to achieve, because at the end, if the committee finds that the firms are qualified to do the job, they would be available for staff in the future when a proposal gets issued. So if somebody gets a number below the other, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be able to access to the jobs. It's just that was the strength of the proposal at the time that was submitted. Okay, for qualification. And I don't know if we want to clarify that. Because we may find a firm that gets qualified 1 or 2 points less, that's not gonna make the difference, because at the end, they may be qualified, you know?
Correct. The
Okay,
differentiation of the points may be where you would cut off the number of firms that would be qualified. If you do not opt to take all qualified firms.
correct, which is another decision. of the-
So that is a decision that the committee will need to make here today per category.
Okay.
And keep in mind that to the other point, the score, if a firm applied to more than one category, you're applying a score for each category.
Correct.
For that firm. So they may have scored one score in this category and a different score in a different category. If they applied to more than one category, because their sample projects, et cetera, and depth of experience could be different in one category versus another. So you're looking at the proposals for each category accordingly. Does that answer what you were asking?
Correct, and just wanna have that clear, that the only reason why we're doing the points is in the case if the committee decides to limit the number of participants in a category, they can do so.
Correct.
If the decision is otherwise, points will matter.
Correct, because at the time that, once they're awarded, at the time a project is to be issued, then all qualified firms will be contacted for a project, and then everybody will submit a proposal for that project at that time.
Correct.
Correct.
So are we ready to start? So the first category that under specialized planning consulting, which is the RFQ 24-24940, in the wireless communication review services. Basically, we were looking for a company that can provide those services on a continuous basis as a support extension of staff. We received one applicant under this category, which is the group Omnicom Consulting Group. And this group, it is my understanding that have been providing services to the county for the last 10 years. And staff that works under that firm have the necessary experience, over 30 years of experience dealing with wireless communications, and intelligent transportation system, and microwave and fiber optics and systems. So, and they have worked with different municipalities in Florida, as Columbia County, Alachua County, Pasco County, Palm Beach County, Lake County, Henry County. It is my understanding this firm, that's their niche of work. And that's what they do in most of the counties in Florida. And they have resulted to be very reliable for staff on the last 10 years. Colleen, I don't know if you want to add anything else from the qualifications or the staffing. Any other committee members?
Well qualified and they have experience and they've shown over the last 10 years that they get everything just timely. Quality work.
Yeah, their staffing certainly demonstrates a high level of technical expertise in the area. They're speaking qualified for it. I noted one of the resumes, I believe cited they were certified expert witnesses for these types of cases, litigation things matter. Many years of experience and past track record in various counties in Spring County.
Right, so if committee members don't have any additional comments, we can proceed to assign the points for each of the categories. So, well, just a reminder, we even though we may have different points, we're gonna try to get a consensus on the number that we're gonna be assigned. All right, so let's start with qualifications. Colleen, what do you have?
40.
40. You have
40.
40. I have 38. For experience,
40.
40. 40. I have 38. Go to 40. Technical approach is up to 20 points. 20. 20. Got a little bit lower. I got 15 there. So let's do the 20. So with that said, this student is gonna get 40, 40, and 20, which equals 100 points.
Okay, so just to confirm, you've got 40 points on criteria 1, 40 points on criteria 2, and 20 points on criteria 3 for Omnicom for a total of 100 points.
Correct.
They are the only one for that category, so we can move forward to the next category.
Correct. The next category that we have is the historic preservation studies. That's a type of service that our staff requires because we don't have anybody in house. We the expertise of doing that type of work, and sometimes you need to know a lot about grants and federal procedures. And we're looking to have consultants that can provide that assistance. In this category, we only have one firm that applied, which is the firm called Ayers and Associates. From my understanding, Ayers and Associates presented the number of staff members working on that area. About 7 staff members. And out of those 7 staff members, they combine in average about 15 years of experience. But the average that they have been working on the firm is about 2.2. They have presented some projects here, the San Cloud Historic Preservation Plan, the La Villa Heritage Trail Plan in Jacksonville, and the Historic Big Side Neighborhood Gentrification Plan. Just to clarify that Ayers is using a sub-consultant as part of this project, which is CPC. And they basically that group is the one that brings most of the experience to the group. With that being said, qualification of the staff, most of the staff members are AACP, so certified planners. And we also have a lawyer as part of the group, which is always good to have in these matters. I'm gonna let the rest of the team to address any additional comments.
I noted, with their project experience, they did demonstrate the submittal experience with the project in St. Cloud and the American Beach community planning initiatives that appeared to be relevant to the scope of services that we're looking for. There may have been some of the services under this umbrella that have been a little light in details, but overall, I did notice their reliance on a technical expert, which is a sub-consultant, and also other in-house experience with their project, their services provided to St. Cloud.
On the one of the projects they provided for the historic East Side neighborhood the gentrification planning, they also indicated that they had completed the National Register nomination, which is similar to process, our local process, which is one of the items as well.
I was able to check references on these consultant. By the way, we have ever worked with them before as a firm. So we felt that it was necessary to check some reference. I was able to talk to Mr. Brian Lewis at City of Lakeland. And then they did some work there. They praised their responsibilities, how responsible they were. Work was delivered up to the satisfaction on time and budget. And I also reached out Melissa Duncan, the city of St. Cloud. And the city of White. So with that being said, we should be ready at this point, unless there's any additional comments to vote. So let's start with Colleen. For qualifications, Colleen, 35, 35. I have 38. Let's do the 35. Experience,
35.
30.
you got 30, I got 35. So should we leave it at 35? Okay. And for technical approach,
17.
17, got 16,
15.
15. So we will do a average there, right? That sounds to be in the 16 area, probably. So with that being said, we have 35, 35, and 16.
So I have a consensus score of 35 for category 1, 35 for category 2, and 16 for category 3. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Okay, and I did forget to ask one quick question. I'm gonna go back to category 1 real fast. Does everybody agree that Omnicom is qualified based on their review for that category?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
just to confirm. All right, and then also for category 2, the historic preservation studies airs with a total score currently of 91 points. Do you also agree as a team or as a committee that they are qualified?
So it's 35, 35, and 16.
I'm sorry, 16, yes, 35, 35, and 16.
17 is 86.
86, I apologize, yes. They do, but I hadn't mentioned it yet, so I can do that now since we're on this category. AIRS is one of the ones that submitted for the bonus points through economic development. And economic development did their complete review and did qualify them under the program for the additional 5 bonus points.
Okay.
So with the additional 5 bonus points, they are at a total of 91 points. So we can move on to service category number 3.
Service category number 3 is ongoing project review for zoning and science subdivision development. Basically is what we're looking here is for staff that can supply an additional hand when we're short staff and can perform the functions of, doing the zoning reviews or site subdivision reviews. There are many areas. It's the zoning, there's also natural resources. There's also the transportation side, and there is a side also for stormwater management. So what we're looking at are firms that can take a project and can see the project in a comprehensive way. So you may have firms that have a lot of people that, they are planners, but they don't have engineers. Or people that have architects and may not know anything about stormwater. So that we're looking for firms that can provide an array of services and they can be there for staff. That's basically the objective of service category 3. And we have 3 firms that have applied to that category. Again, Ayers and Associate applied to be on that category. Waitrim, and also a firm called CMA Enterprise Incorporated. So with that being said, we were able to look at Ayers and Associates. They presented about, Ayers Associates. They presented in this category about 13 staff members. The average years of experience is about 14 years for all of them, and they have been in the firm an average 5 years. And that's important because firms have a lot of turnover. When you see that number pretty low, it's not good. It means that most people are new there, or they are not consolidated in the firm. As part of the staff members, we've got 3 AACP certified, 3 projected landscape architects, and 2 projected engineers. We have noticed that a 53% of the staff have qualifications and some type of certification. And there is a big number of staff that are here in the Tampa office, which is important. So for coordination with our staff. So they have worked for the city of Port Richey, St. Cloud, city of Lakeland, city of Wildwood, and they have done work for the planning commission of this board, the city and county planning commission here in Hillsborough, city of Tampa. So any other comments that you guys have regarding for Ayers?
They have a good mix of the different divisions that we would possibly require with the landscape designers, and stormwater and utility specialists, engineers, and planners.
Experience with Richie, St. Cloud, and number of credential professionals in the S&P and P. In terms of certain tasks that are in scope, I think you see a demonstration. Specific projects with floodplain review experience, that's just one task out of the bucket that we have in our scope. That's that I took.
And I was able to check some references, as I said before. Reference, they were pleased to work with them. They highlighted the project manager of the firm that is very responsive. What I couldn't verify that they were providing ongoing planning services to the other firms, but in the historic, they were more. Their strongest was, from what I heard, the transportation side, which is needed here. Also, the facilitation, community facilitation. But none of the firms that I was able to contact said that they were working directly with zoning reviews all the time. But they were good planners and they were responsible for any assignment that was assigned to them. Anything else I would want to add? The proposal was well put together, very well organized, in order. So that's good to know, good for committee members to follow up, and very easy to understand. So with that said, are we ready to assign the different points? Qualifications, Colleen?
30.
I got 38. 37. So 38, 37. Should we do 36, 38? I got 38 too. So experience,
30.
30, I got 32.
30.
30, so let's do 30. Technical approach, Colleen,
15.
got 15.
14.
14, 15. So with that being said, we have for recording 38 in qualifications, 30 in experience, 15 points in technical approach. That's 68. It's 83.
So just to confirm, for heirs and associates in category 3, you have 38 for criteria 1, 30 for criteria 2, and 15 for criteria 3, which totals 83 points. And again, they did have those bonus points from our economic development team. So their total with the bonus points of 88. Does everybody agree with that? And did everybody agree to find them as qualified?
Yes. They have the qualifications.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Here. So let's do weight trim. The next one. So weight trim have been in business for almost 20 years doing planning. 22 offices in the United States, 98 staff members in the Tampa office. 60% of the staff that they have placed on the roster they are presenting are right here in downtown. So they're easily accessible. All of them have the qualification. We have 2 ACP members, 2 PE members, and 1 projected landscape architect, which is also an arborist. In terms of experience, they have about 21 years of experience in average, and have been for 14 years in the firm in average, which is good. It says that they're retaining their staff for some reason. They provide services to the city of Windermere, Oakland, and the city of Venice. And they have also provided the same services to Hillsborough County for the last 6 years. So they have been proven to deliver on time, to deliver on budget, and the staff so far have been happy with them working. And they are presenting this proposal for the next 3 years. So with that being said, any notes from on our committee members?
Yeah, I did, note their current and ongoing government zoning and planning services they've been providing, Oakland, Windermere, Palmetto, Hillsborough County. The submittal spoke to their experience with traffic study reviews, I think from the city of Venice, if I'm not mistaken. Underscored transportation planning expertise, as well as their services provided to Hillsborough County for commercial site plan review. To demonstrate the technical expertise.
Right now, they are providing zoning review services, and they're also providing land estate review services to our department.
Tree reviews, the experience included ISA certification.
Mhm.
So,
Their staff are extremely qualified and have professional certifications and most of the different divisions we would be looking potentially for. Including this one does have the CFM.
CFM.
Or property management as well.
So with that, are we ready to vote on Waitram? So qualifications,
40,
got 42. Experience,
38,
huh?
38,
38, we got 40,
39.
39. 39, and technical approach,
15,
18, I got 15,
16.
16. Let's say 17. So we have 40, 39, and 17.
So just to confirm for weight trim on category 3, we have for criteria 1, a score of 40, criteria 2, a score of 39, criteria 3, a score of 17, for a total score of 96. Everybody in agreement?
Yes. Ready? So the next firm that applied to this category, it also applied for the category on fiscal and organization management. So the firm is called CMA Enterprise Incorporated. This is a small firm that have been active since the 90s. And as they say on their write-up, they focus on performance improvement, workforce training, advisory and coaching services, and among other services that they offer. So we try, in my review, I try to split them because the proposal wasn't as clear as the others that we have reviewing. It was a little bit difficult to follow through and say which information was from one category and which information was for the other. And the same thing that probably the information requested wasn't all there. And we needed to make some inferences to try to understand what they were trying to deliver. The reference were clear. I don't think that was an issue. I did not find any reference. I didn't call any reference on the ongoing planning and site review. Were you able to? Okay.
So you want me to go into the references,
Yeah.
or do you?
Yeah.
Talking about the rest of the qualifications of the submittal first. How do we do this?
Well, we can talk about qualifications. It is my understanding that the way that the CMA is going to provide these services is using sub-consultants. The people that have worked with them in the past, and they have listed 3 staff members here, Elvis Water, Henson Stewart, and Raymond White. One of them is an architect, the other one is a planner, and Mr. Water, he was even assistant county administrator, assistant city administrator at some point, a lot of experience in economic development. A seasoned professional as the other 3, but they have worked separately. So she's assembling those 3 people in one unit to provide services. And according to the reference that they provided in the proposal, they have done work with the city of West Park, city of Miramar, and Clayton County in Florida. So now with that being said, I'm going to pass you the
Okay.
references.
I mean, before we get to the references, I did notice there were, see any, submittals speak to transportation review. Or speak specifically to cover the tasks that are under the bucket of ongoing review services. The references, there were 3 different references. One was the city of West Park, Florida, and then the city of Miramar was the second, and the third was Clayton County, Georgia. but it was only for one of the members, I guess, of the sub-consultant team that was with a different firm at that time, so I'm not really sure how that works. But I did try to reach out to both the firm and Clayton County. Out of all three of the references, which did not have clear contact information for each one, it kind of varied, an email and phone number. I did get in touch with the named reference for City of Miramar in their planning department, and that person had shared a little bit of information in terms of the architectural review. So that was my understanding. The sub-consultant to this group, Stewart Architecture, has conducted those services for them. And indicated that they very knowledgeable about architecture and very capable of listening to the city's needs to provide those services. He did mention a few things with timeliness and delivery of reviews. And then directed me to contact someone else in the organization as it relates to the services they provide for code and plat review. Which I think would fall under the bucket of what we're evaluating here for rental services.
So any impressions, Colleen, regarding this consultant?
The staffing is a lot more limited. I guess there's no AICP certified planners.
I think there is one, Raymond White, was supposed to be an agent. See there. Let me go to Paul. Fine. No. There is a picture, an individual has a picture.
Yeah, on page 4, Dr. Raymond White.
Yes.
The
Examples provided and really get with kind of what we're looking for the different technical reviews. It just doesn't look like the full scope of the reviews that we need to be covered.
So so do we feel that this is the question, do we feel that this firm can deliver what we're looking for? In this category? In this specific category, because they have applied to another category. So the two firms that we have analyzed before, they are planning engineering firms with full staff.
Keep in mind, you don't want to compare.
Oh, okay, thank you for the clarification. So I think the best way to put it is this firm, do you feel that this firm with the staff that have been presented can deliver the services that were needed, that are needed, and the volume that they can come to, because that's the other part. We may have 80 reviews that are due tomorrow. Are 3 people able to address all those 80 reviews right away?
Yeah, I would say, there's some concerns in terms of the scope of the tasks under this particular RFQ that we have. From what I could gather, the architectural experience is there, and some with code writing things, but It does seem limited in terms of the sheer scope of the different tasks that we're looking for. And then to speak to volume and the rigidness of our review process, you know, there needs to be a deadlines with a certain level of technical expertise that, at least from what I reviewed, is some of those individual tasks under that bucket, it's not prepared.
Right. They may be able to provide some review type, but not all of it. That's basically what it is. And the amount of staff that they have involved is probably, if we get a big influx of reviews, I don't know if they're gonna be able to address it all. That's, so what do we think here? Do you think they can still do some work? Because that's the other, they can do some work, may not be able to address it all fraud. That's my main concern. So the first question is, do we rate them? Or
Are they qualified?
are
or
they
not?
qualified or not to provide the services that we're looking for? Do they have the scope?
So in that question, are they qualified? Are they qualified to do each and every one of those tasks under that umbrella? Is that supposed to be looking at that, or are they qualified to do one?
They are qualified to do some, but not all of them. And that will happen in other
That has been qualified in every category, so you would struggle to hold that
Correct.
to the flame. So in every job, keep in mind, is gonna be a proposal at the time. If they're capable of doing that job at the time, they'd submit a proposal, and if they're not, then they wouldn't. Or it would shake out in that proposal for that
Correct.
job.
Correct.
But are they qualified to qualify in the category enough to rate them?
That's the question.
So if you find them unqualified, then we would find them unacceptable, potentially.
I think the last time around that we ended probably in a very similar conclusion. And they came back and they apologized for that. Is my understanding.
Right.
And we have to do a reevaluation that triggered another meeting. And at the end, they were qualified. They were always, when new work was available, they were solicited to present proposals, and they never did. I just want to put that up there, if that helps to. Well, that's. So again, they may be able to do some work. Whether it's a firm that have the breadth of expertise and the number of staff members that can address any needs, that's something that we will have to discuss.
I mean, I think the zoning application type work, they be qualified and have
Correct.
experience for. Stormwater. Site engineering.
Under a situation where we don't, there's not really a lot of submittals for this category. I don't know, but without guidance of, is it better to have many in that category of ongoing services, you know, or are there limitations that we need to consider?
At this point,
Cut off for scoring that.
last year we had 3 firms One of them didn't apply for this year, and we have wage trim. Work orders were issued to everybody, and they will come back with a proposal, including CMA. Okay, I never got a proposal for CMA this year.
I think your question is leaning more towards volume, right? Is there enough volume to
All three of them,
Yeah,
warrant the need to dig down? Is that what you're asking?
oh, that's a good question. I mean, the use of these categories always happen when we have, a reduction in staff for some reason. But right now, we haven't been using this category in the same way that we used to when we went into COVID or that kind of thing. So,
Well, either way, at this point, the qualified list, whether they qualify or not, and then you would score accordingly. And then you would determine where your cutoff would need to be from that list of 3 that it's submitted based on volume. So right now, you've got to decide if they qualify first before you decide if you're going to qualify all of the responses or not. And then it's true.
they qualify to do some work. I would say that they don't qualify. They have some bodies that can do some work. Can they provide it all? No. But they
I
can
don't
do
think you
some.
can say that of any of your respondents, though, but they could do all of it, or
Well,
maybe one.
their staff is a little bit more comprehensive,
Agreed.
so they should be able to take on a diversity of job types. Which, when you're dealing with an architect, when you're dealing with an ACP, they may be more towards the zoning side.
Just to clarify, when you're saying if they qualify for all of the types of work, you're talking specifically just within category 3.
Within category 3, correct,
Okay.
correct.
Just to re-identify that, category 3 is ongoing project review services for zoning and site subdivision development.
Mhm. For example, there isn't any PE that could help us to do transportation analysis. There isn't any project landscape architect and arborist that can help us to do natural resource review. There isn't anybody there with utility PE, with utility experience that can help us to do that. I can tell you they can do zoning review.
So is there enough of a gap that the firm doesn't qualify enough in the category based on the staff they provided to meet the needs of the category? They may have some staff that do some of the category, but not enough of the category to really hold water in the category.
I'm just thinking that we should be able to let that in, because if we have something that is only related to zoning, at least they will have the opportunity to participate and provide services. So with that understanding that not gonna be able to provide it all, you need to give them, I think that we need to give them the chance to be in the list and respond if there is a zoning application to see if they want to do it. Because they are qualifying the zoning part. remember, if we make the decision that they don't qualify at all, you're cutting that, and they may come and say, well, but we qualified for zoning, why? So that's another meeting, we're gonna have to come back here too. So that's my point of.
I wouldn't wanna forego the process because you might have to come back for another meeting, because that may happen.
Correct.
So don't make your decision for that reason. Make your decision for the reason that they qualify or they don't. If you think that their zoning piece is qualification enough to move them forward, then go ahead and score them.
Any thoughts?
Correct me if I'm wrong, same number. But typically when we've used consultants for these 4 different types of reviews, they've each been separate
Work
contracts,
orders, yes.
work orders.
Yes.
Because they're, we may need help, zoning might be short-staffed at one point,
Correct,
and now,
natural
and that
resources,
reviews at another point.
and they go to different divisions. too.
Right. So, I mean, I think that they would be capable for the zoning, reviews. We needed that.
And so in that case, if there was a need for architectural reviews and with that, open it up to proposals they can submit for
Correct.
architectural review.
Correct. And that's a good point. None of the other consultants have an architect on staff. So
So
with
you
that being said, let's say that they qualify. And let's look at the qualifications. So are we ready to? All right. So, qualifications,
25.
25, we got 30,
20.
20, 25, 30, 25, and 30. And I say 32, so 30, 30, 25, we're talking about 28, is that fair? So again, you got the 3 numbers, I have 30, you got
25.
I
25,
just report the consent. score that we
55.
need to agree on.
and you say how much?
Oh, we're,
No, you're on
We're on
category
qualification.
of the first one.
Yes, in the first
so
one.
I heard 25, I heard 30, and I said 20. So what? Sorry.
So 5, 7, so it's 25.
Yeah.
25. Then the next one,
20.
20,
20 as well.
20 as well. And then technical approach
12.
is 13,
7.
7, 7, 13, 12, 25, 32. That's like around 12. So we got 25, 20, and 12.
Okay, so for CMA for category 3, I have for criteria 1, 25, criteria 2, 20, and criteria 3, 12.
Correct.
Okay, that's a total score of 57. And then they were also one that submitted for the bonus points with economic development, who did a full review of their proposal and did qualify them for the 5 additional bonus points. And so with the 5 additional bonus points, they are at a total score of 62.
And again, we're agreeing that they do qualify to provide services. It's just that the scope is gonna be limited. All right. So everybody agrees, we can go to the next page. talks about service category 4.
So to clarify, the committee has opted to award or to qualify all three firms
Correct,
in that category.
correct.
So we can move on to category 4.
And category 4 is the fiscal and organizational improvement studies. And we have, um, 5 firms, 6 firms apply. One of them was considered, which is Transformative Leadership LLC.
Considered unacceptable.
Okay, so we got MGT America, CMA, again, Enterprise Incorporated, Maximus, Rose Group International, and the Cura Company. Right?
Right.
So,
Before we jump into those, I did not have an opportunity to review the Maximus submittal. I guess was finally approved on Friday. Just did not have an opportunity this morning to come back and review this.
So with not having all 3 of you having reviewed Maximus, Maximus will have to be reviewed at a later date. Because we have to have
to be reviewed at a later date.
the entire
The
category.
entire category.
entire category. Because we need to have, all 3 of you have to have had your time to do a review for all of them in that category. So we can schedule a meeting for the future to go ahead and score and do the evaluation for category 4.
So what is our timeline to take this to the board?
I don't have the calendar in front of me directly.
I think it would be, if I remember correctly,
We're
by
not,
the end of this week in order to get to the last meeting in October.
so we,
No, it's due soon.
so are we looking to meet another day of this week?
We have to advertise it for 24,
At least
48 hours.
48 hours. I believe it's like for a minimum of 48 hours.
I think the policy states one or the other. Have to look at how fast we can repost another evaluation committee.
And make sure you guys are all available, so I have to look at your calendars to
So-
see.
That's what I was gonna tell you. Again, the best way to reach out, you can see stuff in our calendar, they're always gonna be booked.
Yeah,
And
no,
we got flexibility.
that's not what she meant. But, yeah, we know.
We can move stuff around. If you go by the calendar, you will never find a date.
Right now, Friday afternoon, I don't.
Yeah,
We will not make the 10-2 meeting, having to reschedule, not the whole thing. If we are adamant to take the first 3 categories to the board on the 10th, I'm not sure that we can even do that because the notice, you have to do the
NOIDA has to-
memo, and we have to post a notice of intent to award for 5 days. So, by having to move the meeting out, the 10-2 meeting is already an issue.
is it an issue if we present the first 3 categories upfront or not?
We still can't make the 10-2 meeting because the deadline is this week
Okay,
and we have to post the notice.
I'm very
And
concerned about the
allow
cell
5 days.
tower situation.
We have a plan for that. I'm not
Okay.
concerned.
All right,
So we would go to the next meeting in October. If we can get the next meeting scheduled as soon as possible based on policy for noticing and Richard's schedule for time for evaluating the outstanding proposal that he's got to review, then we can reschedule accordingly and go from there.
so if we schedule this afternoon, we do the notice, can we do it on Friday?
We don't know yet. It'll depend on availability of multiple factors. So we'll have to go back and look.
Kind of,
Yeah.
we are.
Right, I'm just not sure with other bids that are out there going on, we've got to have a room and all that as well, so we got to make sure that we're able to get everybody in.
We said publicly notice it, there's multiple factors.
Correct.
I don't want to say sitting here in a recording that, yes, we're gonna do that. I'm not willing to do that. So we need to go and make sure all of the factors can fall into place, and we'll post it publicly accordingly.
All right.
So what I can do for the time being, again, we have evaluated categories 1, 2, and 3, and came up with consensus scoring for qualifications. And we are going to need to reschedule to evaluate category 4, which we will try to do as soon as possible and get that public notice out. In that meeting, we can do a final overview of all scoring to confirm and have you guys sign a final scoring sheet at that next meeting. And then it'll be the chair for doing that summary and report.
Do we have a draft of, just think, I have done those 4 to 5 times already. I want to know if anything have changed. Because I can start drafting these 3 categories already.
Things changed that I'm aware of.
Very well. All right.
So at this time, we're going to go ahead and close up this evaluation committee meeting, having evaluated categories 1, 2, and 3, and there will be a second meeting scheduled to finalize the evaluation for category 4 and finalize all consensus scores and confirmation. If anybody does have questions that needs to be presented, again, that needs to come through me and me alone, and we are still under the cone of silence. So at this time, I'll go ahead and close out the meeting and stop the recording. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.